The state Supreme Court split 4-3. It will not hear the Trump lawsuit. Justice Brian Hagedorn cast the key vote saying, look, we are not a fact-finding court. The facts in this case should have been determined by lower courts, either circuit court or court of appeals. Therefore, I don't want to hear this, what's called an original action, where the Supreme Court takes direct intervention bypassing those two lower courts. But JR, fill us in on what happened then, because the Trump campaign filed immediately, appealed in Dana and Milwaukee, and go ahead.
So the state law says that if you're going to appeal a recount, you go to circuit court to file your lawsuit. I'm going to quibble one thing you said. Hagedorn didn't say he didn't want to hear the case. He didn't want to hear it right now.
Thank you.
He wanted to follow that statute that says it goes to circuit court and goes through the process. Now, as you look through kind of the decision, well, procedurally, Justice Rogensack, the Chief Justice last night, assigned the case to a reserve judge from Racine County, who now has the combined cases of Milwaukee and Dane counties before him. But what I was doing yesterday was trying to read the tea leaves of the order from the Supreme Court to figure out what's in there. And if you break it down, it's interesting. You have Brian Hagedorn saying, I don't want to hear it now. It should go through circuit court first. But Brian Hagedorn is silent on the issue of the remedy that Trump seeks, which is, again, throwing out 221,000 ballots that were cast by people in Wisconsin who were following basically the advice of state and local election officials. He's silent on that issue. Rebecca Bradley, another conservative on the court, kind of gives an indication that she believes the law is the law regardless of the remedy sought. And so people I talk to think that she is open to the Trump campaign argument that the election was not run correctly and there is maybe an avenue to throw out some ballots. The key for me was Justice Rogensack and Justice Ziegler. They signed on to a dissent that Rogensack wrote, in which Rogensack noted, for example, with the missing information on absentee ballot envelopes. She said, maybe that's not the correct advice from the Elections Commission that you can fill in those ballots, that information. Okay. However, the remedy the president is seeking may not be reasonable. Okay. To people I talk to, that's a sign that both Rogensack and Ziegler, who again signed on to the decision, are not comfortable with the idea of throwing out 221,000 ballots over how the election was run. Okay. Now, the three we didn't hear from are the three liberals in the court: Ann Walsh-Bradley, Rebecca Dallett, and Joe Karofsky. It's tough to assume in this world, but we kind of assume that because they're on the liberal side of the court, they will unlikely agree with the president on throwing out ballots. Okay. So if you read the tea leaves, we're guessing 5 votes right now not to throw out ballots. Rebecca Bradley's being open to the idea, and Hagedorn being a wild card. Why I bring that up is because I don't know how this case is going to play out. The court may end up finding that what the commission did was not correct. But those indications from that order suggest people I talk to that you're not going to see the mass removal of ballots in Wisconsin that would change the result. Okay. Again, I'm not predicting the outcome of like the legal arguments, but the remedy the president seeks, people I talk to don't think it's going to work with the state Supreme Court off of what they read in that opinion yesterday.
Meanwhile,